perspective, we get an idea of an Uncle Tom. Because it's funny that so many people celebrate a President Barack Obama, but then they pick on that smart kid in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, man. We celebrate a Colin Powell, a Condoleezza Rice, but that young little black girl, that young little black boy that's up there in school trying to progress himself, they fake. They trying to act white. No, in other words, you, young person, yes, I'm calling young people, you are in early age setting up an Uncle Tom mentality for yourself without even realizing it. And if your mom and them, if your daddy and them, whoever them telling you, yes, I said them, are telling you that that's the way to think of about another person who's trying to further themselves, then they're Uncle Toms too.
That's right.
I'm just going to be real.
Here's my question. Here's my question real quick. You know, we concentrate on sellout and the word sellout.
Right.
My thing would be selling out to what? You understand what I'm saying? What are we selling out to? You know what I'm saying? Your ignorance? you know, your dumb assness? what are we, I'm sorry, brother. I don't want to be like you.
Right.
If that's the case. You know,
and that's the thing. So many people are selling out in the perception to be socially acceptable.
Exactly.
And not actually growing anywhere.
I mean,
if you look in the neighborhoods, those people are doing the same thing. They're acting ignorant, hanging out in the same spot.
Right.
20 years later, most of them got charges by the end. Right. But they still hanging out in the same spot. They haven't grown. They haven't learned anything. So and they perceive it that they're socially acceptable.
Right.
But they're really not.
Right.
They look down upon by the older generation.
Right. Right.
I mean, that in itself is kind of crazy. It's like, okay, I can be from a certain area, you know, in the city, you know, and you know, we got our own certain section and everything. And being from that area, I'm gonna love everything about it. But at the same time, am I regulated to, okay, this is how it goes down in this area. I'm not supposed to, you know, I'm not supposed to expand my mind. I'm not supposed to broaden my horizons. I'm not supposed to learn and experience more because everybody from where I'm from only went this far.
Good
point.
If
I attempt to go any farther than that, you know, I'm deemed to be different, or I'm a sellout. Man, I wish somebody would come to me and say, "Hey, man, you're a sellout. Please find me."
They selling for mediocrity and pretty much just a level of contentness for what somebody else is doing.
But let's make this even more real, because to me, what an Uncle Tom is, and you talk about a person that's a sellout, and honestly, they're scared. And when we go back home, it's funny because it's funny because we get labeled sometimes as those of us who are trying to do something positive, who are trying to make it. We get labeled as a sellout, quote unquote, Uncle Tom. But wait a minute, I can go back on the block. I can go back on the block, and I can stand on the block. I can have a beer, a Budweiser, a 40, whatever you want to do. I can do that. But can you walk up? But can you walk up in corporate America? Can you walk on a JSU's campus? Can you walk on a University of Alabama's campus?
And not feel out of place.
And not feel out of place.
You know,
can you walk in on Charlie's? I'm sorry, let me make it more. Can you walk in Red Lobster? Classic on Noble. You know, can you go to certain restaurants and even feel comfortable? To me, that's the sellout, because you can't go wherever you want to go.
That's right.
So that's the type of mentalities that we have to destroy when you start talking about Uncle Toms, because some of those very people who are trying to do their thing, as we're already talking about, aren't really selling out. It may be you. It may be you. Does this make sense, brother?
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, I've been around folks and around people, and you know, and just in regular conversation, normal conversation, you know, they just looking at you and all like, you know, man, you sure can't talk. You know, I'm like, what do you mean? You know,
the ape can talk. Planet of the apes.
Funny was that I can go hang out with some of my white friends, and we can go to a mixed club, but yet it's hard to drag some of them to one of our clubs.
That's right. I mean, they're not comfortable. You know, and they're not comfortable.
That's very interesting. Viewing audience, wonderful. Hopefully not Uncle Tom's, but if you are Uncle Tom,
you probably got a message by now on your phone, so you can take it during the break.
It ain't too late to be delivered. But we're gonna come right back having more of this conversation. Welcome back. And I want to take a quick moment before we jump right back into the topic. Good topic, brothers. Talking about these Uncle Toms. But before that even flashes back up on the screen, we want to say shout out to all of those people, especially, you guys heard, man, we got some young women out there to watch, and they watch us while they exercise. They burn calories. They burn calories actually while exercising, taking in some of this Can You Relate? So shout out to you guys. Represent. We appreciate that. You can exercise to this show and get something good in as well.
All the time.
But back to these Uncle Toms. Back to these Uncle Toms. I got another point, brothers, because we talk about those people on the block and all these people who are not maybe living up to their greatest potential. But let me talk about some of those intellectual Uncle Toms. Let me talk about
Here we go.
wonderful, wonderful favorite book of mine, The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, written in 1933. And in 2011, you will see some of the same things that go on today. And if you haven't get that book, this is not the book of the segment, but please check that out, The Miseducation of the Negro. When you talk about Uncle Toms, I think about some of these uppity Negroes, some of these intellectuals, quote unquote, who won't even meet with each other. Who won't even meet with other African Americans. Now they'll go to a Lions Club meeting, they'll go to a Rotary, they'll go to a Kiwanis, all of these other different organizations, but refuse to meet with each other to talk about the state and conditions of the communities, not random communities, but other communities where they come from. How Uncle Thomas is at. And this is the problem, this is the biggest divide, because the people on the block, on the corner, they see that, man. They recognize that. They notice that you're not coming back in the community, that you're not doing your part to get back to that place where you came from. You shun away. You turn your nose up as if you're better than those people. But you're no better than those other Uncle Toms that say, shoot, when they got my word, just smoke and get high all day. Because the man, quote unquote, is holding me down. Well, in a sense, the man is holding you into corporate America to not even being able to return to your own community and shine just a little bit of light. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying take fruit baskets and turkeys and throw them around.
I mean, you have a certain amount of obligation.
Go ahead, man.
You have a certain amount of obligation to an area that you're from. I mean, I believe a certain amount. Like you said, you're not supposed to go back, and you don't necessarily have to do big things, but little things. If it's no more than contributing to the church, maybe that you were raised in, or something of that nature. You know, you may want to go back and if there's anything that you can do to maybe help the youth, for instance, in the community or whatever. I mean, just something small. It could be. I mean, if your job and your situation takes you away from where you're from, that's understandable. But most of the time, you have family, friends, or whatever back in that area where you can do a little something to try to. As far as I'm concerned, as far as in my book, what I consider to be a sellout is someone to leave an area that they're from where they're shown a whole lot of love. If you're not shown a whole lot of love where you're from, then you don't owe nobody a damn thing. But if you're shown a lot of love from a certain area, and you leave that area, you become successful, or whatever, give a little bit back. They're gonna appreciate it, and you'll feel a whole lot better about it yourself.
But I have to take a big shout out to the biggest sellouts I know. I really hate to bust you guys' bubble. I already know. These rappers.
Man.
These rappers.
Well, here we go.
Well, you telling me you got 12, 15 felonies all on your records, and then we check your record. It's cleaner than mine. I may have more speeding tickets than you.
I feel you. I didn't know where you was going, but I'm with you now. I ain't want to get the car at first, but I'm in there with you now.
I know you talking about you riding with so many.
I hear you.
Man, and let's be honest, man, because that's one of my points too.
That's right.
Some of these mainstream rappers, hey, we're not against rap, we're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs. Thugs, rugged, bomb. Anyway, forget that. We hip hop heads. We grew up in that. But these mainstream rappers, that has to stop. I like that. Let me add on to that point. If you do have 12 felonies and you are out and you making millions on records allegedly, why in the world haven't you went back and created a prison for your boys? Because they're following and mimicking the same behavior that you're rapping about, quarter cream, half a black. But hey, they're mimicking everything that you're saying that you're doing, but you won't even build a prison. You won't even build a community center. You won't do anything or set anything up that is going to ensure that some of these single kids growing up in these single parent households are being taken care of.
Or create a brand or something of your own. You wearing in your videos talking about Gucci, Prada, Aston Martin, but you're not creating an industry or maybe a clothing line or something when they create jobs for that community.
Because going back to Uncle Tom, though, this is another thing in selling out. I think, honestly, African Americans, I don't think we'll buy anything called Kunta. Right. I don't think we'll buy anything if I came with a clothing line I call it Uganda. We're not gonna buy it, man. So what I'm gonna do when I get some real bread, I'm gonna create a clothing line, right? I'm gonna maybe have a I don't know,